Good day, everyone. Today we will be continuing the discussion for the Module 1, Quarter 1, Week 1. Today's topic is about operations on sets. We will be discussing the following: intersection of sets, union of sets, complement of a set, and the difference of two sets. The objectives of today's topics are the following: define and describe the union and intersection of two sets, illustrates difference of two sets and complement of a set, and use Venn diagram to represent sets operations. Okay, so let's proceed to the first operations, which is the intersection of sets. The intersection of set A and B, written as A intersection of B, take note of the symbol that we have used here. It's like an inverted U, is the set containing the elements that are common to both A and B. What does it mean to be common? It means we are just going to look for the same elements in the given set. So for example, I have here set A and set B. Let's look for the common elements. That is 2. Yeah, because set A and set B have both number 2 and also 4. That is their common element. So if that is their common elements, we can write it as the intersection of A and B, or the intersection of set A and set B, is equal to 2 and 4. So again, when we say intersection, we are looking for the common elements. Now, we may also show and represent the intersection of sets using Venn diagram. To represent a set in a Venn diagram, we are using circles. So since we have two sets, we will going to use two circles. So we have set A and set B. Now, in set A, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in set B, we have 2, 4, 6, and 8. Remember, when we are using Venn diagram, the first elements that we need to put are the common elements, or the elements that can be found both on A and B. And that is what we call the intersection. Again, what's the intersection that we get a while ago? So that is 2 and 4. So we will going to write that intersection in the middle, where the circle overlap. So the intersection must be placed at the center of the two sets. And then we are going to supply the elements that are missing. So set A, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Since we already written 2 and 4 here, so what is missing na lang? That is 1, 3, and 5. So that's what you are going to write here. How about in B? What is missing? That is 6 and 8. Okay? And if you are asked to shade the part of the intersection, this is the area that you will be shading, since this is where the two sets overlap. And this is where you can see their intersection. So this is how you are going to represent the intersection of sets using the Venn diagram. And by the way, these examples also shows that these are joint sets. Okay, I know you can still remember when you say joint sets. Why? Because they have common elements. So if they have the same elements, they are also considered as joint sets. Okay, so let's try to give more examples. So let's consider the following sets below and look for the intersections of these sets. So let's start with set A and set B. So again, when we are looking for the intersection, we are just looking for the common element. So it was obviously that set A and set B have both 3, 7, and 9. So therefore, this is the intersection of A and B, because these are the elements that is common to both set A and set B. Next, For set C and set D, as you can see, they are not listed, but they are being described. So set C are the vowels in the English alphabet, while set D are the consonants in the English alphabet. I know that you are familiar with the English alphabet. So vowels are A, E, I, O, U, and the rest are the consonants. So therefore, these sets are what? They don't have an intersection. So it means our answer should be an empty set. Why empty? Because there is no common elements in set C and set D. So again, let's try to use the Venn diagram to represent the intersection of sets that we have here. So again, since we have two sets, so we're going to use two circles, one for set A and the other one for set B. Why did I overlap these two circles? Since we have an elements here that are the intersection of both A and B. So remember, when putting the elements, the first thing or the first elements that you need to write on the Venn diagram are the elements that are common. So we are going to write 3, 7, and 9 in the middle where the two sets overlap or the two circles overlap. And then after that, we will going to complete the elements for each set. So for set A, we already written 3, 7, 9. So what is being left here is 1 and 5. So that's what you are going to write na lang. And for the set B, we have 3, 7, 9 here. So the missing one is 2, 6, and 10. So that's what you're going to supply. And again, if we are looking for the intersection and you are asked to shade it, what part of the Venn diagram you are going to shade? Of course, this one, the middle part, because this is where they overlap. And this is the intersection of set A and set B. Okay? So let's try this one. So again, I have mentioned this that they are joint sets, okay, because they have common elements. How about the set C and set D? As you can see here, there is no common element. So whenever there is no common elements in a given set, that will automatically give us an intersection which is an empty set. So how are we going to represent this using the Venn diagram? Of course, since we still have two sets, we're going to use two circles. But this time, what do you think? Sorry for that noise. So since there are two circles here and they don't have a common element, we're not going to overlap them kasi they don't have an intersection. It's an empty one. So what you're going to do is to draw two circles, but they should not be overlapping. And then you just write or list down all the elements here. So that's 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. And for letter D, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Okay, and if we have joint sets which we have common elements, we also have disjoint sets. I know you can still remember this because we have discussed this one. Wherein, when you say disjoint sets, there are no common elements. Okay? Okay, now let's proceed to the second operations on set. The union of sets. So the union of sets A and B written as A union of B. So take note of another symbol. So in the intersection, we have inverted U. For the union, we have letter U. But it's a bit, the opening is a bit wider. So this is the set of all the elements that are in A or in B or both A and B. So what does it mean? In the union of sets, what we are going to do is just to combine all the elements given the sets. So for example, I have here set A and set B. So my set A are A, B, C, D. My set B are B, D, F, G. If I'm going to get the union of this, I'm going to put them together in one set. So that will become A union of B is equal to A. So I put A there, B, C, D, F, and G. Now, take note, if you are writing a sets, the elements should not be repeated. That's why if you're going to observe here, set A and set B have both B and D, right? So, if I'm going to write the union here, I'm not going to write B twice and I'm not going to write D twice, because writing a set, the elements should not be repeated. So it's only be once. Pag meron ng sinulat, hindi na siya pwedeng ulitin. So remember that when you are combining the elements. So that is the union of the sets. Okay, so again, when we are referring to union, what we are going to do is just to combine all the elements. So combining the elements. So just like the intersection of set, we can also use Venn diagram to represent the union of sets. So since we have two sets here, so what we are going to use is two circles, set A and set B. Now, remember that you need to look for the elements. If there are common elements, our circles should be overlapping because they have common. Okay? And remember also that if you are going to supply the elements here inside the circles, always starts with the intersection or the elements that are common to both A and B. And what are those? B and D. So that's their intersection. So you're gonna put it here in the middle. Then after that, you supply what is missing here for set A. So if we have written the B and D, what is left here is A and C. So yun na lang yung i-rewrite. On the other one naman, we also have B and D here. So what is left na lang is F and G. So yun na lang yung missing elements. So there you go. And since this is already a union of set, once you are asked to shade it, so combining, we need all this together. This is how you're going to shade the union of the sets. Okay? Okay, so let's try to practice and answer the following. So I have here 4 sets and let's try to answer this. The first one, the intersection of A and B. So this is A and this is B. So when you say intersection, what we are looking for? Very good. That's the common element. So what is or what are the elements common to A and B? That is 2 and 4. Did you get it? Great job for you if you get it. Next, how about the union of set B and set D? So this is set B and this is set D. Remember, when you are getting the union, you are combining all the elements, but there should not or there should no repetition, okay? No repetition of elements. So what is the answer? Did you get the same answer with me? If you did, good job for that. Next, how about for number 3? C intersection of D. So intersection again. So we are going to look for the common elements. Can you see a common elements for set D and set C? That's great. They don't have a common element, so the answer should be an empty set. And the last one, let's try the union of set A and set C. Here we go. There. So union, we're just going to put this together, and remember that you are not going to write the elements twice pag may common sila. So what's the answer? That's great. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. I hope you are following with our discussion. Okay, so now let's proceed to the third operations on set, which is the complement of a set. So the complement of a set is denoted by a apostrophe. It looks like an apostrophe. If you can see this one, the circled one. So this is the symbol for the complement of a set. Is the set of all elements that are in the universal set but not in set A. So this time, the universal set is included. So let's have an example for you to understand. So if I have here the universal set, which are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I have set A and set B. Once I get the complement of set A, So I'm just going to copy the set name, which is A, and then I'm going to write the apostrophe here. So this is read as complement of set A. So what am I going to do is to look for the elements of set A in the universal set and then eliminate that. And what will be left in the universal set will be the complement of set A. So the clue word here is not in set A. So this one can be replaced by the name of the set given. So if you have set A, not set A. If you have set B, not set B. Okay? So again, so what are the elements of set A? So those are 0, 4, and 8. So you're going to remove that in the universal set, and what will be left here is the complement of set A. So those are 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. So as you can see, we remove the elements of set A. So that is what you call complement. Okay? Another example. What is the complement of set B? So, ano ba yung laman ni set B? So, that's 1, 3, 5, and 7. So, going back to the universal set, remove all the elements of set B. That is 1, 3, 5, 7. Ano yung mga natira? So, that is 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. So, that's the complement of set B. Okay, so let's have more examples given the universal sets A, B, C, D, and E, and I have here 4 different sets: set A, set B, set C, and set D. So let's try to answer the first one. What is the complement of set A? Okay, going back, these are the elements of set A, B, and D. So when you say complement, not the elements of set A. So going back to the universal set, this is our universal set. Remove the elements of A, which is B and D. What is left are A, C, and E. So therefore, that is the complement of set A, given this sets and this universal set. Now, like in the union and intersection, we can also use Venn diagram to represent this one. So in this case, since we are involving the universal set, we are not going to use 2 circles, because in the Venn diagram, a universal set is represented by a rectangle. Okay, then you're gonna have here the U, with this is universal, and then set A will be represented by a circle inside the universal set. Okay, lalagay mo siya sa loob. Now, let's first indicate the elements of set A, which is B and D. So you're gonna write here inside the circle of set A, because yun yung elements niya. And then since the set A is inside the universal set, what you are going to supply here is yung missing na lang, kasi you have B and D na. So, ano na lang yung kulang na sets? Those are A, C, and E. And that is part of the universal set. Dito mo siya ilalagay sa rectangle. But all of them are part of the universal set. It so happened that the B and D is also part of set A. Now, since we are looking for the complement, which is not A, what we are going to shade here, if you are told to shade it, is the universal set, because we are getting the complement, not A. So, hindi natin i-shade si A, because that is the complement, yung nasa universal. Okay? I hope that's clear. Let's have another example. How about we are going to get the complement of B? So, these are the elements of set B. And this is the universal set. If you're going to look at this, okay, meron bang element sa set B na wala dito kay universal set? So, their elements are all the same. Equal sila. So, therefore, the complement of set B is an empty set. Kasi, lahat ng elements ni set B ay nasa elements din ni universal set. So, how are you going to illustrate this using the Venn diagram? So, ganun ulit. Rectangle for the Venn diagram, circle for set B. Okay, ano yung laman ni set B? A, B, C, D, E. Anong yung laman ni universal set? Ito din. Pero hindi na tayo maglalagay sa labas, because it's all in here. Complete na siya. Okay? So the complement of set B is empty. So, ito yung i-shade natin. As you can see, walang nakalagay sa labas ng circle. Okay? So, I hope that's clear. Okay, so let's try at the number 3, complement of set C. Okay, so what are the elements of set C? A, D, E, not this. Okay, so going back to the universal set, remove all the elements of set C, which is A, D, E. What is left is B and C. So that's the complement of set C. Okay, again, using the Venn diagram, draw a rectangle to represent the universal set and a circle inside the universal set which represent the set C. So, ano yung laman ni set A? Ni set C? That is A, D, E. Ano na lang yung kulang to complete the universal set? That is B and C. Okay? If you are asked to shade the complement of C, what are you going to shade? The universal set, since we are looking for the complement of the C. So, it means not C. Okay? And the last one, the complement of set D. So, what is the elements in set D? This is an empty set. So, therefore, if this is empty, all the universal set elements is the complement of set D. So, how are you going to illustrate this? Set D, walang laman, empty. And then, all of this will be written in the rectangle. And shading the complement, that is this one. So, now, let's proceed to the last operations on set, which is the difference of two sets. So, the difference of set B from set A denoted by A minus B. So, take note of our symbol for the difference of two sets, A minus B, is the set of elements in A only but not in B. So, what does it mean? So, this is the clue word, A only. But, it's not always A, ha? It depends on the set given. Kung sino yung una, siya lang. Ganun lang. For example, A minus B, A only. B minus A, B only. Something like that. So, let's have an example for you to understand. So, I have here an example of two sets. So, I have set A and set B. So, if I'm going to get the difference of these two sets, A minus B, the first thing that we need to do is to look for the common elements. Why? Because what we need are the elements that can only be found in A only, because ito yung nauunang set. Okay? So, tanggalin muna natin yung common. They have both 3, they have both 7. So, after getting the common elements, eliminate natin yon, tanggalin natin yon. But because what we need is the elements only that can be found in A. So, ano-ano yung natira kay A? 1, 5, 9, and 11. So, therefore, that is the difference of these two sets. Okay? Now, let's try. Paliktarin natin. B minus A. So, what does it mean to have B minus A? In this case, it's not A only, but it's B only. Ulitin ko, ha. Kung sino yung unang set na given, siya lang. So, in this time, ganun pa rin. Look for the common elements, but this time, kay B na tayo titingin. So, after matanggal yung common sa given sets, ano yung natira kay set B? That is 4 and 8. So, therefore, that's the difference of these two sets. B minus A is equal to 4 and 8. I hope you follow. Okay, so let's have more examples for you to be able to practice. And this time, I'm going to show also how to represent the difference of two sets using the Venn diagram. So in this case, I have 4 given sets. So let's start with A minus B. Okay, again, in this case, this is the difference of two sets. So the first set given is A. So A only. So let's look for the elements of set A and set B. Meron bang parehas? Yes, there is. Parehas may 5. So, after eliminating the common elements, so, tingin tayo dito kay set A, ano yung natira? So, that is 2 and 4. So, therefore, A minus B is equal to 2 and 4. So, how are we going to use the Venn diagram? So, these are two sets. So, two circles again. Again, meron silang common overlapping. So, that wag kakalimutan yan, ha. If they have common elements, they always overlap. And then, the first elements that should be written is the common element, and that is 5. And then, complete the elements for set A, which is 2, 4, 5. So, 2 and 4 na lang. because we already have 5 here, and for set B, we have 1 and 3. Okay, so 1, 3, and then the 5 is already written. Now, since we are looking for the difference of these two sets, so ano yung palatandaan? A only. We eliminated yung common. So if you will be asked to shade this Venn diagram, if you have this kind of operation, what you're going to shade is only the part of A, because that's A only. Okay? It's easy, right? So let's have the next example. B minus A. Oh, 2 circles again. So we have A and B. Why 1 and 3 ang answer? Because for B and A, as you can see, ang common nila ay 5. Ayan. So ano yung first set natin? That is set B. So dito tayo titingin. B only. Pagkatapos tanggalin yung common, ano yung natira kay B? 1 and 3. Okay, using the Venn diagram, we have 2 circles overlapping. Write the common elements in the middle, then complete the elements of set A and then the set B. This time, B minus A. So B only. What do you think should be shaded? Of course, yung kay B lang. Okay? That's the difference. A minus B and B minus A are not the same. Okay? Take note of that. Okay, continuing with the example number 3, C minus D, C only. So the first thing to look at is the common elements for C and D. So as you can see, they have both 2 and 3. Then eliminate that common elements. What is left in C only? That is 1 and 4. So that's the difference of these two sets. Now, using the Venn diagram, since they have common elements, so again, remember when writing the elements in a Venn diagram, always starts with the intersection, which are the common. So that is 2 and 3. And then afterwards, complete the set or the elements in set C and then set D. Okay? Then after that, let's try to shade. What should be shaded if you have this C minus D? That is C only. So there you go. Why this part is not shaded? Because this is also part of set D. So pag difference, tatandaan kung ano yung unang set na given, siya lang. So C only. Okay? Next, number 4, how about D minus A? So this is D and this is A. The common here are 2 and 5. And then D only. This is the first first set, sorry. So what is left after eliminating the common set? That is 3. So that is now the difference of these two sets. Showing it using the Venn diagram. So we have set A and set D. So, ang common nila is 2 and 5. Write it in the intersection. Completing the set A, kulang na lang si 4. For set D naman, kulang na lang si 3. Okay, now, shading the part of D only, D minus A. So, syempre, ito yung part na yun. Okay, so I hope it's clear. So I hope you have learned something today. So I want you to take note of this important things to remember and some clue words to remember when it comes to the 4 operations on sets. I hope that you will going to watch this video completely so that you will not going to be you're not going to have a hard time coping up with the next lesson, because this is the prerequisite of our lesson for Monday. So, thank you guys and God bless everyone.